game in the play-in.
I can sense that the group is ready. That's all you can ask for.
As they make their run to return to the NBA Finals. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Good morning, South Florida. I'm Valentina Gaspari.
I'm Jason Arrow. Today is Wednesday, April 17th, 2024.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
The leader of the House of Representatives is speaking out, telling two members of his own party, quote, "I'm not going anywhere." This morning, Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson is responding directly to challengers from two hardliners within his party.
Representatives Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene are looking to assemble a coalition of their Republican colleagues to oust Speaker Johnson. The cause of the divide is to be reported over disagreements regarding the USS's foreign allies' funding regarding Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. Here's Speaker Johnson's response.
I am not resigning, and it is, in my view, an absurd notion that someone would bring a vacate motion when we are simply here trying to do our jobs.
This is not the first time that the Republican-controlled House has had the power struggle. This was since the party had won the majority back in 2022.
Longtime U.S. Senator and two-time Florida Governor Bob Graham has died. Graham spent 4 decades in the public service representing the state of Florida. He was most known for co-chairing the congressional investigation of the September 11th attacks and running for president in 2004. Graham was 87 years old and is survived by his wife Adele, 4 kids, and 10 grandchildren.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is initiating a slight rollback to his abandoned books agenda in public schools. Yesterday, DeSantis signed a new bill that states that starting in July, people without children in a school district can only file 1 complaint per month regarding the books that are available to read. The governor suggested that his former policy may have gone too far.
You have some people who are taking the curriculum transparency and they're trying to weaponize that for political purposes. And so that involves objecting to normal books.
The new law, however, did not specify a penalty that adults would suffer if they do violate it. It also did not address the number of complaints that parents of children in school districts can file.
South Florida is ground zero for climate change, and Floridians are familiar with the severity of flooding here. But with the development of the South Florida Climate Ready Tech Hub, there's a possibility to address and improve this issue through coastal resiliency projects. Caplin News reporter Sofia Bolivar from our DC Bureau looks into what Tech Hub is fighting for.
Behind me is the Economic Development Administration, which will fund between 5 to 10 tech hubs this summer out of the 31 designated across the country. With South Florida's tech hub being the only one promoting climate resilience, the fight for its funding here in D.C. can lead to less flooding back on the South Florida streets. With intense storms in South Florida comes intense flooding, especially in low-lying areas. In November, Alyssa Chavez was victim to a nameless storm in Fort Lauderdale near the beach.
I didn't think much of it. It was like raining pretty hard, but I was like, oh, another rainy day in like Florida. So I just drove to work. I was going under a bridge and it was like flooding a lot under. I was about to go on the highway. My car just stopped. I didn't know what to do. I just left my car there and then I had to get it towed.
Flooding is a concern for residents, and many question how livable South Florida will be in the future if projects focused on climate-ready infrastructure are not carried out.
We've got the threat of storm surge and stronger hurricanes threatening our older, weaker buildings. And also we have sea level rise and climate change. They're combining to bring us worse flooding. More intense rainstorms are becoming more common as the planet warms. And the number one thing I think we would need to fix a lot of this is money.
In October 2023, the Economic Development Administration, or EDA, designated the South Florida Climate Ready Tech Hub as the only tech hub in Florida, and it's the only tech hub focused on climate resilience out of the 31 hubs across the country.
There's some coastal resilience projects that already have some funding. They could be enhanced through Tech Hub activities.
One of the companies that has partnered with the Tech Hub and focuses on coastal defense is OnePrint, an infrastructure 3D printing company that produces seawalls to protect the shoreline and prevents flooding.
Some other advantages of the 3D printing manufacturing is that it can be localized. So a 3D printer can be set up within hours and start producing infrastructure that can be placed just feet away. For example, our seawalls is something that we can bring a machine to the area, say it's an inland canal. We can produce many seawalls in a rapid amount of time.
At Florida International University's Government Relations Office in Washington, D.C., one intern is advocating for the Climate Tech Hub. During the spring semester, she researched how public research institutions are progressing environmental resilience.
I had the opportunity to submit over 50 programmatic and language appropriation request forms in order to appropriate money from the federal government towards our research initiatives.
The Tech Hub would potentially bring in many advantages to South Florida, with a broad range of themes such as innovative technologies, workforce development, and overall resilience to the evolving climate.
You know, we could see sea level rise and flooding impacting our communities. I think what they're doing is incredible, and I look forward to seeing it come into fruition.
Now it's a matter of waiting. By August, the EDA will decide if it will fund the Climate Ready Tech Hub and support the climate resilient companies. Reporting for Caplin News from Washington, D.C., I'm Sofia Bolivar.
Was it a bird or was it a plane? Actually, it was debris from outer space. A family home in Naples was shocked to hear a loud bang coming from their roof. To their surprise, it was an object from the International Space Station. The cylindrical shape, weighing about 1.5 pounds, had pierced through the ceiling and the floor. Alejandro Ortero, the homeowner, called the Collier County Sheriff's Office after making the discovery.
I was shaken. I was completely in disbelief. What are the chances of something landing on my house with such force?
The object was subsequently taken to the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral for further analysis.
9 states, including Florida, have reported harmful reactions after receiving cosmetic injections, which is commonly known as Botox. The Centers for Disease and Control, including Prevention, says that 9 people were hospitalized, with 4 of them being treated for botulism, a rare but serious illness caused by toxins released by bacteria. The CDC says people should ask beforehand if providers are licensed and are trained to give the injections.
A new technology will allow the Florida Highway Patrol to increase its response time to car accidents. The new program is called Desktop Troopers. In case of a car accident, dispatchers will send a link to the caller and communicate with the person via camera. The trooper will then be able to file the crash report without actually being there.
It's going to save a whole bunch of time and convenience for the insurance company and also for you, so you could just wrap it all up and don't have to sit there and wait.
According to the Florida Highway Patrol, Florida has the lowest number of troopers per 100,000 people in the nation. The Desktop Trooper program will help deal with the shortage by cutting down on response time for accident reports.
Works of art, both for the eyes and ears, are on display side by side in Pompano Beach. Capital News reporter Aisha Ambrister takes you inside for a closer look.
The soft melody of the music fills this room and captivates its audience. We're here in Pompano Beach, Florida for a taste of jazz.
Was it a plane?
The Bailey Contemporary Arts Center is a bustling art gallery, home to many, one being the Taste of Jazz event, hosted every second Thursday of the month.
It's the event that brings the most people. It's always sold out.
The event is done by the Gold Coast Jazz Society, who collaborates with the Pompano Beach Arts and Cultural Department.
Like about half the crowd is regulars, and then half of it is new people that are just, a lot of them are out on a date night, or it's their first time here, so they get to explore not only the music, but the art that we have in the building.
Wine samples are complimentary for the event, and while you're enjoying the vibes, after you can enjoy the art. Featured artist Oscar Montoya showcases cancer survivors beautifully in the gallery.
In fact, the opening of my show, I've been told, is one of the most busy ones of all the shows that they had here in the last 2 years. Cancer touches everybody, it touches everybody. It touches, I know you know someone that had cancer or died from it or survived it, So we all have stories to tell.
And you can continue to see these stories while enjoying some jazz.
We're tapping our feet, we're snapping our fingers, and we're scatting our way on out of here. This is Aisha Ambrister, Caplin News.
We now know who the Panthers will play in the first round.
And that's still ahead, and so is this story.
To shoot this Jaquez. Down the Jaquez Highway for 2 and a foul.
He will play in Philadelphia tonight in the first game of the Eastern Conference playing tournament. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's what white people think. You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
You're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
During the regular season, he'd had a better record on the road than at home. Something to keep in mind is that Miami sits just one road win away from playing into the playoffs. The postseason kicks off for the Miami Heat players tonight as they enter once again with the odds stacked against them.
We have Caplin's Anthony Cruz in the control center this morning to break down what Miami's matchup with the Sixers tonight and with the 7th seed up for grabs.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. As with the 2023-2024 season wrapping up on Sunday, the Heat finds itself in the play-in tournament for the second year in a row.
I'm going to shoot this thing. Jaquez. Down the Jaquez Highway for 2 and a foul.
It's been another roller coaster of a season in South Beach, as though the roster witnessed many bright spots like Jaime Jaquez Jr.'s standout rookie season, the ascension of Duncan Robinson, and one of the better trade deadline acquisitions across the league in Terry Rozier. Injuries and overall inconsistencies in the starting lineup would once again prove to be its kryptonite, as head coach Eric Spoelstra had to throw out over 30 different starting fives during the year, and that led to the team once again finishing in the lower third of the league in offensive rating. However, Spoelstra feels that his squad is still capable of pulling off what many see as the improbable.
Feel good about the group, and that's all I wanted to see. These last couple games, I just wanted to feel it. I know my team. I know the locker room. I can sense that the group is ready. That's all you can ask for.
The Heat's matchup in the city of brotherly love will be nothing less than a heavyweight bout, as the surging 76ers have won 8 unanswered since reigning MVP Joel Embiid returned from injury. Whenever the Heat is playing in front of arguably the most rabid fan base in the league, it's always extra personal for former 76ers player Jimmy Butler. And the Heat stars show no signs of intimidation heading into tonight.
Just got to go out there and compete, play basketball the right way, and do something very difficult, which is to win on Philly's floor. But it's a time of the year where, you're going to have to do that anyways if you want to win a championship. Obviously, we got to do it if we want to get to 7.
If the Heat wins tonight, it'll clinch the 7th seed. Not only would the team avoid a dreaded second win-or-go-home game, but it would also land on the other side of the bracket as the 64-win Boston Celtics. As much as Jimmy Butler would probably tell you that he's not scared of them. Reporting for Caplin News, I'm Anthony Cruz.
The Florida Panthers battled the Toronto Maple Leafs in their regular season finale, with a potential division title on the line. The Ice Cats started out cold as the Maple Leafs stormed out with a 2-0 lead in the first period, but the Panthers were toying with Toronto as a monstrous second period led to Florida to victory over the Leafs. The final score was Toronto 2, Panthers 5. The Panthers won the Atlantic Division, earned the 3rd seed in the East, and will face the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round of the playoffs.
There's a saying, life is filled with some strange and rare moments, and last night, that rare moment was the Marlins win. The Marlins battled the San Francisco Giants, and Miami was aided by a career-high 10 strikeout outing from Brian Weathers on top of a 3-run 6th inning that will result in a win for the Marlins. The final score for this game was San Francisco 3, Marlins 6. The Marlins will move to a 4-14 and will try to win their first series of the year against the Giants later today at 12:10 p.m.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Jason Arrow.
And I'm Valentina Gaspari. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.